This is gonna be really interesting. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. This is going to be a pregnancy must-haves video. It was kind of hard for me to get a list together because a lot of this stuff is just stuff that I use kind of mindlessly every single day. I don't really keep track of it as being a pregnancy must-have, but these are things that I personally could not get through my pregnancy without. And this list is based off of all 3 of my pregnancies. If you aren't new to this channel, then you know this is my 3rd pregnancy, this is my 3rd baby. And so a lot of these items were things that I used in my 1st pregnancy, my 2nd pregnancy, and then some of these things are things that I've only needed for this pregnancy in particular, it being my 3rd pregnancy. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so the number 1 thing on my list is stretch mark lotion or coconut oil. Really, one or the other. This is the brand that I personally use, and this is not focusing for me. It's the Cocoa Butter Formula by Palmer's. I used this brand for my pregnancy with Lilia, 0 stretch marks. I used a different brand for my pregnancy with Zoey, tons of stretch marks. And then I, of course, went back to this brand for my 3rd pregnancy. This is the one who gave me stretch marks. Say hi! She was also much bigger in the belly. Switch back to the Palmer's Cocoa Butter Formula for this pregnancy, and I have not gotten any new stretch marks. And a lot of the stretch marks that I had gotten with my pregnancy with Zoey have somewhat diminished. So I mean, that's really, there's not much left to say about it. That's just what has worked for me. And then if you don't really want to go and spend the money on a stretch mark cream in particular, there's also coconut oil. And I use coconut oil for absolutely everything. I use coconut oil for diaper rash on my kids. I use coconut oil for my daily moisturizer. I use coconut oil for stretch marks. I use coconut oil when I cook. I had a bad breakup, I put coconut oil on it. Like everything in the world that you can think of, I use coconut oil for. So if you just have some coconut oil handy, I know a lot of moms these days have their coconut oil. It's a really good stretch mark solution. So the second thing that I have on my list is this V-band. I got this at Target. This one in particular is actually like 7 years old. I got this in my pregnancy with Lilia like 7 years ago, and it has still held up through 3 pregnancies. I use this thing all the time, you guys. I use this thing religiously, and I've even worn it as a halter top when I wasn't pregnant, and it's still in really good shape. It's really nice. I used it in my 1st pregnancy so that I could wear my pre-pregnancy jeans unbuttoned. Of course, in my 2nd and my 3rd pregnancies, pre-pregnancy jeans are not even an option if they're unbuttoned, but I use this as more of a support belt. I find that this actually works a lot better for me being claustrophobic than having like one of those seemingly heavy-duty support belts that a lot of women use. I think they call them belly bands or pregnancy belts, or I've used one of those, especially when I was pregnant with Zoey, because she gave me really bad sciatic nerve pain. It helps for its intended purpose, but being claustrophobic, it makes me feel really confined. So this is what I use. And the 3rd thing on my list, and this is definitely mostly relevant to this pregnancy. I mentioned a couple of times that I have really bad chapped lips with this pregnancy. For this pregnancy, I have desperately needed chapstick. This is just Blistex medicated lip balm. I use a combination of this and once again the handy dandy coconut oil. These two things have been absolutely necessary with this pregnancy with my chapped lips, and I have needed to basically constantly apply something on my lips, whether that be just regular coconut oil at night before bed or some lip balm or chapstick throughout the day. I could not get through this pregnancy without those things. Number 4 on my list, and I am not going to show you guys any examples of this just because it's a little bit personal, but that is having some very comfortable underwear, extra underwear, panty liners, whatever works for you. Especially in your 3rd trimester, it seems that kind of tinkling yourself is a little bit commonplace, unfortunately. Whenever I cough, whenever I sneeze, I tinkle myself a little bit. So I've had to carry around a pair of spare underwear. I was wearing panty liners, but I found... What? I found that the friction from the panty liners was a little bit irritating for me personally, but that works for most women, just putting a panty liner and switching them out throughout the day. For me though, I had to kind of stock up on some unfavorable panties that I don't mind ruining or going through, and honestly they're gonna serve me really well after I give birth, because if you've had a baby before, you know that after you give birth, things get a little bit messy down there and you don't want to ruin any of your really nice underwear. So stocking up on some granny panties is not a bad idea, especially once you get, you know, a little bit further along in your pregnancy, closer to time to give birth. So number 5 on my list is prenatal vitamins, and I just wanted to show you guys the kind that I take because I love these prenatal vitamins. Sometimes I look at the ingredients of what is actually in some of the prenatal vitamins that you can get like at the grocery store or whatever, and there's a lot of stuff in there that you really probably don't want to be putting in your body, especially while pregnant. It's kind of scary. This is the brand that I use. It's called New Chapter Perfect Prenatal Multivitamin. The serving size on these is 3 a day, so you do have to take 3 of these a day, which isn't really fun if you're not used to taking vitamins, if you don't like swallowing things. I totally understand.
I can't watch it.
What?
I can't watch it.
Mm-hmm. This is another of my daily vitamins. This is my prenatal DHA that I use. It's called Nordic Naturals. I also take an extra folic acid supplement. This is the one that I take. It's nothing special. It's just Vitamin Shop brand. You don't have to. There's definitely folic acid in pretty much any prenatal vitamin that you take. I just personally like to take a little bit extra. It doesn't hurt. And then I also take an iron supplement. And this is what I take right here. It's just a little bit extra iron because I have been anemic in my first 2 pregnancies, and I am not anemic with this pregnancy because I have been regularly taking my iron this time. So when you're growing a human being inside of you, oftentimes it's really difficult to get all the nutrients that you need with just food. Obviously, if you don't like swallowing pills, a lot of people don't. I had to train myself to get comfortable with swallowing pills. I've not always been super comfortable with it, but that is a lot of vitamins to take. Those are just some suggestions of things that I take, and it just kind of gives me peace of mind that I'm getting a lot of the nutrients and a lot of the vitamins and minerals that I need for this pregnancy. Next thing on my list is a tumbler or plastic water bottle. Something that you can take with you really easily, that you can have your daily intake of water with you, easily accessible. You are like a psycho. You don't want to get a tumbler if you prefer bottled water. Now some people are really picky about their water. I also I keep these stocked. Just big packs of water bottles. I keep those stocked for whenever I'm in a hurry. If I don't have time to grab my tumbler and fill it up, I just grab a water bottle before I leave the house. And I just know I always have water with me at all times. If you have dealt with morning sickness in your pregnancy, I don't care if it's first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, you deal with morning sickness, not just in the morning, sometimes at night, and not just in your first trimester. It can hit at any point in your pregnancy. I have found that lemon slices in the water, or a little bit of lemon in your water, really, really helps to combat that morning sickness. So that was a pregnancy essential for me. In this pregnancy, had I discovered it before this pregnancy, it would have been essential to my previous 2 pregnancies as well, because I have dealt with morning sickness in every pregnancy that I've ever had. I really hope you guys can hear me, because I have a crazy toddler in here for this entire video. I am so sorry. I don't know what to do about it. This next thing on my list is definitely relative to your personal symptoms. I have had 3 pregnancies so far, and I have never not had really bad heartburn with any of my pregnancies. So the next thing on my list is Tums. And I use Tums because I feel more comfortable taking Tums throughout the day multiple times than taking like a Zantac or Prevacid or anything like that. With my pregnancy with Zoey, I took Prevacid. With my pregnancy with Lilia, I took Zantac. They work perfectly fine. They get the job done. Just having as much heartburn as I do have, I have been taking Tums with this pregnancy. I feel more comfortable taking it because it's essentially just calcium. I am really one that does not like to take medications during my pregnancy, but I honestly could not survive this pregnancy without taking something for heartburn. The next thing on my list is pillows. For most women, they definitely suggest having a big ol' body pillow or a pregnancy pillow or whatever you want to call it. This is the pillow that I use right here. This goes in between my legs every single night. Can't sleep without it. And then I also use like these pillows behind me. Sometimes I'll put a pillow underneath my belly if I feel like I need the support, but I could not survive this pregnancy without pillows. And the reason, I'll put a link over here to the video where I talked about why I don't use a pregnancy pillow, but long story short, I'm claustrophobic and it makes me feel like I'm suffocating. If you don't deal with claustrophobia and that's not an issue for you, I highly recommend getting a pregnancy pillow because sleep does not come easy. The next thing on my list has to do with maternity wear, and really it's essentially just that. But my personal suggestion would be maxi skirts, maxi dresses, maxi shirts, anything that is long and flowy and comfortable. I have had the hardest time being comfortable with this pregnancy, more so than my previous pregnancies. Part of it is because this baby is super low in my belly, a lot lower than my first 2 were. I have also recently obtained quite a big butt. And some of you are gonna obviously argue with me and say that my butt isn't big. I know it's not that big, but I've never had a butt before, and right now I have a butt. So I've really had to monitor my wardrobe, I've had to modify my wardrobe for this pregnancy quite a bit. I have totally given up on jeans, and that's not just because it's 110 degrees outside at all times. That's also because they're so uncomfortable. And I wear a lot of leggings, I wear a lot of maxi dresses, I wear a lot of maxi skirts. And if you are pregnant or if you're planning on being pregnant, I highly suggest that you invest in some long, flowy clothes. The very last thing on my list is easy to grab healthy snacks. Obviously, one of the biggest things about being pregnant is that you get hungry frequently. And another big issue with being pregnant is battling the unhealthy cravings that you probably will have throughout your pregnancy, because that's just one of the biggest challenges, honestly, in being pregnant is eating healthy. It's very important and it's also very difficult. One of the things that I have found that makes it a little bit easier, especially whenever you get to your 3rd trimester and you're kind of lazy and you don't really want to cook or prepare every single thing that you eat, are having some things that are easy to grab to snack on that are also very healthy for you. So this is, oh, my kid hid it from me. Okay, so this is the example that I chose. These are Chobani flips. This is the flavor that I have absolutely loved with this pregnancy. It's almond coco loco. I preferred the key lime one whenever I was pregnant with Zoey. But I like these because I can just grab them out of the fridge and eat them really easily whenever I'm feeling kind of hungry, and I don't feel guilty about eating Greek yogurt with like almonds and dark chocolate and stuff like that. This also combats my sweet cravings a lot of the time because it does have the dark chocolate, and dark chocolate has antioxidants, which is healthy. So once again, don't feel so guilty about that. Other things that are really good that you can have around the house are like bananas, grapes, fruit in general. My favorite easy to prepare snacks is avocado on Ritz crackers. It's better than grabbing a bag of potato chips or grabbing a pint of ice cream or whatever it is that you really want to have. I am not going to claim that I don't give in to my unhealthy cravings. I definitely give in to my unhealthy cravings quite frequently, and I don't suggest that you don't ever give in to your unhealthy cravings because that's just gonna make you so sad all the time. That is it for this video. I am really glad if you stuck all the way through the craziness that was going on throughout this video. I apologize, but that is the reality of my life. Thank you guys so much for watching this crazy video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave. And I will see you all for my next video. Bye guys! Say bye! Or not.